What's up? I'm Nigel, aka Nemo, and this is Nemo Bites, my daily upload where I tell you all about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, any art projects that I'm doing, video projects, music projects if I'm doing that, a little bit about how I'm feeling and how my day has gone, especially in regard to being a 37-year-old undergrad going back to school for the first time in like 15 years. I'm a physics major with an astronomy minor and a math minor, and it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of emotion and deserves its own vlog series, which I'm gonna make for sure, especially because I wish that content existed. I mean, there is that there's really not that, it doesn't really exist, and I wish there was more of it when I made the decision to go back 2 years ago, because it would have been nice to see someone's experience. But yeah, so a little bit of background as to like what the motivation for this. I've been sort of on a journey in the last year or two as I've gotten busy to reduce distraction and clutter in my life that makes my brain more scattered than it already is. And started with removing social media from my cell phone. I know, very cliche, but it felt good, especially during election season, which was a doozy. And so started with that, and coming into the new year, I've found that as I've reduced the amount of media I've ingested, the more creative I've felt, which is really nice because I've been pretty tired and it's been hard to be creative at all. So sort of accidentally, I made New Year's resolutions. I didn't actually do it, but since the new year began, I've decided to be more intentional. To feel like a wellness coach. Be more intentional about what media I consume. So instead of letting the algorithm feed me YouTube videos, which is like my vice, and Spotify feeding me new music, which is nice. I'm keeping Spotify for discovery, but listening to it less. And instead of those things like Spotify and Netflix and YouTube, making conscious decisions about what I want to watch and what I want to listen to. And I find that in the last couple weeks, like the creativity has been coming back, and here we are now recording the first Nemo bite. So among those plans are my like album per day, which is not an actual album per day, but I will be like 3 or 4 times a week buying an album or going to the library and renting one and listening to it either on a CD player I have or this little guy, my MP3 player, with these lovely Bear dynamic headphones, laying on the couch and listening to the entire album. And then also every day trying to draw in this little guy right here. I can't really show you the drawing because it's hard to do holding the camera at the same time. So I'm trying to do just a little illustration every day, and I'm not an illustrator. And it's not a challenge thing. It's just something to kind of get me back into analog creativity, and it just feels good to be mindful and present. So yeah, let's get into it. It's Monday, January 13th. What am I reading? Nothing, but I'm going to start reading Lord of the Rings. Again, it's been 20 years. I read it in high school. So that dates me a bit. A little bit. And I love Lord of the Rings. And I watch the movies like a couple times a year. But it's been a long time, and I miss the depth in the pages from the texts, and so I'll get into that. And I've never read the Silmarillion or the Hobbit, so maybe I'll start with those. But definitely Lord of the Rings, I think right now will be the thing I'm diving into. In terms of what album I'm listening to next, I didn't manage to listen to one today because I did like 35 takes of this first episode. It's been taking me a second to get back into this rhythm. Still not in it. But the next album that I listen to will be Kendrick Lamar's Damn. The first album I listened to on the MP3 player was the Dune 2 soundtrack, which is so good. Hans Zimmer. In another life, I wanted to be like a film composer, so I do enjoy my cinematic composition. What am I watching? I'm currently watching Rogue Heroes on Amazon. Maybe they'll sponsor me. Rogue Heroes. I think I watched the beginning of it a little while ago, a couple years ago when it came out, but I didn't remember much from the first 2 episodes, so I'm watching through the first season again because the second season is coming out, and the show is directed by the director of Peaky Blinders. Fantastic show, of course. So hopefully season 2 is good. Will it be as good as season 2 of Peaky Blinders? I mean, what is these days? So yeah, reading Lord of the Rings, listening to Damn by Kendrick Lamar, and watching Rogue Heroes. Did a little illustration today in that book that I showed you, and I have the beginning of my Minecraft Calm Forever World series coming out that I'm doing just in the name of creating whatever, and then also hopefully the going back to school as an aged fellow, and how that is at this time of life. Aside from that, pretty good day today. Started this, and that's a big one for me. The downside was one of my professors who was writing one of my 2 letters of recommendation for summer research opportunity applications, due to personal life issues, had to drop a bunch of students they were writing letters for, and I was among those students, which is a huge wrench in the program for me. So, we will persist and we will survive. How are we going to get past this? I don't know. It's late. The hour is late, but we'll figure something out. But aside from that, the school was great. Kids were nice, and the Chinese food I had on campus was fucking awful. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll work on being a little more concise in the next ones. I tend to ramble a bit. I'm rambling now. Love you lots. See you tomorrow.